I said, let me see the chart, bring it down. That was a lucky one, but maybe not lucky, maybe right up there. Maybe not lucky.
There's the Trump, man.
Maybe, I think, my two sons are great shooters, and they said, Dad, from 130 yards, a bad shooter couldn't miss with that gun. So as your president, here is the deal that I will be offering to every major company and manufacturer on earth. I will give you the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burden, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet, but only if you make your product here in America. It all goes away if you don't make your product here and hire American workers for the job. If you don't make your product here, then you will have to pay a tariff, a very substantial tariff, when you send your product into the United States. And by the way, you know, for years they knocked the word tariff, properly used, is a beautiful word. One of the most beautiful words I've ever heard. It's music to my ears. A lot of bad people didn't like that word, but now they're finding out I was right. And we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars into our treasury and use that money to benefit the American citizens. And it will not cause inflation, by the way. And you know, I took in from China hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs, and I had no inflation. We didn't have any inflation, 1.2%. We had essentially no inflation. Now, you've had, over the last 4 years, you've had the highest inflation, I think, in the history of our country. Somebody said, no, sir, it's only 58 years. Well, that's pretty bad, too. I think it's really in the history of our country. This is the policy that built America, and this is the policy that is going to save America. It's going to save us, because we have gone so far down in so many different ways. Not to mention the border, not to mention 21 million people pouring in from places unknown, totally unvetted. But like I've always called it, because it's a very beautiful and simple term, it's called America First. We're putting America first. For years, Americans have watched as our country was stripped of jobs and wealth, and our companies were sold off to foreign countries. You've been watching, and it's been a horror show. I've been watching for many years, and we had it stemmed. And then all of a sudden, bad things happened. But boy, I'll tell you, we had it stemmed. If we would have had 4 more years, everything, this would be such a different country right now. We would have had no inflation. You wouldn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. You wouldn't have had October 7th with Israel. The Middle East is blowing up. We could be very close to World War III with these characters that don't have any idea what they're doing. But what a shame. In Afghanistan, what a disaster. That was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, I believe. But GE appliances were sold to the Chinese. IBM computers were again sold to China. Under Kamala Harris, U.S. Steel is now being sold to Japan. I will stop it. We got to do fast. We got to work fast, but we're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let U.S. Steel. 70 years ago, the greatest company on earth, U.S. Steel. Now it's going to be sold off like it was nothing. We're not going to let that happen. We'll build it up. We'll make it strong, but we're not going to let that happen. But with the vision I'm outlining today, not only will we stop our businesses from leaving for foreign lands, but under my leadership, we're going to take other countries' jobs. Did you ever hear that expression before? Have you ever heard? That we're going to take other countries' jobs? It's never been stated before. We're going to take their factories, and we had it really rocking 4 years ago. We're going to bring thousands and thousands of businesses and trillions of dollars in wealth back to the good old USA. That's what we're going to be doing it, and doing it fast. And under my plan, American workers will no longer be worried about losing your jobs to foreign nations. Instead, foreign nations will be worried about losing their jobs to America. Going to bring them back. And it won't even be difficult. Your only worry will be deciding which job to take. There will be plenty of them. That will be your biggest problem. Darling, which company should I go with? And I want German car companies to become American car companies. I want them to build their plants here. I want to beat China in electronics production, and we'll be able to do that easily. We have the greatest genius, the greatest minds here, and then we end up building them in different places. A lot of that's really stupid tax policy. I want GE, IBM, and every other manufacturer that left us to be filled with regret and come sprinting back to our shores, and they will. This new American industrialism will create millions and millions of jobs, massively raise wages for American workers, and make the United States into a manufacturing powerhouse like it used to be many years ago. We will be able to build ships again. We will be able to build airplanes at a much higher level again. We will become the world leader in robotics and every other field. The U.S. auto industry, which has been decimated over many, many decades, will once again be the envy of the planet. To the auto workers in Michigan, Georgia, and all other parts of our country, I am pinpointing you for greatness. Your industry has been decimated by many decades of incompetent leadership, both political and at your company level. You had presidents of your company that sold out our country. They didn't know what they were doing. They were horrible. And you had politicians that were grossly incompetent to let that happen. Your auto industry has been decimated. And again, with the electric car, it's all going to be made in China. The head of the United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed of himself for what he's done. But we're going to turn it around, and we're going to turn it around fast. China is right now building major auto plants in Mexico. Did you know that? They were going to start with me. I said, no, if you do them, I'm putting a 200% tariff on every car that comes. And they decided we'll pass. Then they said, wow, now we can build Trump. We won't have to worry about him anymore. Oh, here I am. Here I am. Here I am. We're leading in the polls. We're leading by a lot. We're leading by a lot. They said, oh, we don't have to worry about him. No, they have to worry about me. That's why they don't like me. You know, they used to like Obama. They used to like, they like Biden. You know why? Because they got away with murder. That's why they like Biden. They love Biden. Why would you like Biden except that you took advantage of him? They took advantage of him. And they think they're going to sell their cars into the United States and destroy Michigan and South Carolina and North Carolina and Georgia and all of the places that make autos. Not going to happen. We will put a 100% tariff on every single car coming across the Mexican border. And tell them the only way they'll get rid of that tariff is if they want to build a plant right here in the United States with you people operating that plant. We want American citizens, and we want their plants built here, not 2 feet over the border and selling them into our country. We're not doing that. We don't do that anymore. I will bring automobile manufacturing back to the highest level in the history of our country. You know, it used to be we were the only place. And then it just got chipped away, mostly by China and Japan. And all of a sudden, we were down more than 55% from where we were years ago. But it'll be like it was 50 years ago. And these jobs, they'll become roaring back. And we're going to be making autos at a level that you've never seen before. We'll be making cars bigger, better, more beautiful, stronger, and faster than ever before. Billions of people around the globe will soon be buying products proudly stamped, made in the USA. Or if you prefer, if you have to do it, made in Georgia. You can do that. And they'll be exported through the port of Savannah. She is offering to companies to entice them to keep jobs in America instead of shipping jobs overseas. First, she wants to listen to this. She's called the tax queen. They love her in other countries because she forces everybody out of our country into their hands. The tax queen is demanding a 33% tax hike on all domestic production. Now, you can hate companies and all that, but they fuel growth and they fuel jobs, they fuel everything. You tell these companies, they don't care. They just assume be in Europe. They just assume they don't care. They want to go best price, it's called, best deal. And they're going to leave our country in droves if she does that. It's nice to say, you're going to pay 33% more. And one day you'll read, oh, gee, so-and-so, they just signed with China. They just signed with Germany. They just signed with Great Britain is dying to have. They'll give you free tax. Next, she wants the largest capital gains tax in the history of our country. We've never had a tax. And then she's telling people, build your place here, but we're going to have a brand new wealth confiscation tax. So if you make money, you're going to pay us a lot. But more importantly, it's called an unrealized capital gain. You know what that is? That means that you're going to pay a capital gain even if you haven't realized it, even if you haven't sold. So a lot of people are rich, but they don't have cash. Now they're going to have to get cash because if their thing goes up in value, they have to pay a massive tax. You're going to have deterioration. You're going to have a depression. If that happens, you have a 1929-style depression. This woman is grossly incompetent. Grossly incompetent. Think of it. If a company succeeds, you have to sell it to give her half the value. Half the value is going to be owned by the government. So if it's successful, you'll have to sell it because you don't have the cash. It's a huge success. You're going to make a lot of money in the future. We don't care about the future. Sell your company now, and bad things happen. And nobody's tried it. It's a communist kind of thing. You know that? You could say it's a Marxist thing if you like, but communist you understand better. In addition, Kamala is shutting down power plants nationwide, causing electricity prices to soar more than 100%, going up 100%. They will soon be totally out of control. They already are, and businesses will flee. They're going to flee our country. If they can't get energy, they're going to flee our country, and they're going to flee fast. And yet we have more energy under our feet than any other country. I call it liquid gold. Liquid gold. We have more than Saudi Arabia. We have more liquid gold than Russia. And yet we're buying oil from Venezuela. Why? And it's not really oil, it's tar. You have to melt it. And you know where they melt it? Talk about the environment. There's only one plant in the world that can take care of it because it's really not good. It's the worst. Only one. You know where it's located? Houston, Texas. So in Houston, Texas, they clean this stuff up, and you know where the stuff goes? Right up there. So if you're a big believer in the environment, this is not good. But we have the best oil on earth, and we have the most oil. Clean, beautiful stuff. And we have the most. And we're going to use it. As I say, drill, baby, drill. That's what we're going to be doing. Drill, baby, drill. And very importantly, she will close down all fracking and all fossil fuel development, which will bring our country into third world status. She's going to close down all fossil fuels. And we will set up special zones of federal land with ultra-low taxes and regulations for American producers. These will be ideal spots for relocating entire industries that we've taken in from other countries. They're going to come in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They want to be here. But they were forced to be out because in this country, we were so unfriendly in so many different ways, but especially with our tax policy. Finally, to exploit these pro-manufacturing policies, their full potential is going to happen. It's going to happen very quickly. I will appoint a manufacturing ambassador whose sole task, and it'll be a great one, will be to go around the world and convince major manufacturers to pack up and move back to America where they want to be. They want to be. For years, we watched other countries steal our jobs. Now we are going to be going after their jobs and bringing them back to America where they belong and where, frankly, they want to be. They want to be. And under my plan, we will cut energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months. And that means for your homes, too. We will commit, because of the fact that we're lucky. You know, China does not have this. Can you imagine? They want to go to electric cars, our people. But we don't have the product for electric cars. We have the product for gasoline-powered cars under our feet. And hybrids. And we want to have electric cars. Hey, Elon Musk is great, right? He makes an excellent car, an electric car, and he endorsed me at a level that you wouldn't believe. Every day he said, we got to have Trump. He's a great guy. And he understands his product is phenomenal. And there's a great place for electric cars. But you have to have gasoline-powered cars, too. You have to have hybrids. You have to have everything. You know the new thing, and I'm sure Elon will get it if it's any good, but it's got one little problem. It explodes. Hydrogen. They say the new thing is hydrogen cars, but they're having a problem. If it explodes, you end up about 7 blocks away and you're dead. So personally, I don't know about you, but I'm going to take a pass. But maybe they'll figure it out, but right now I wouldn't recommend it. But there'll be other things happening, and they'll be great. But we don't want to have, they have the electric mandate. We'll be ending the electric mandate, all electric cars. We'll be ending that immediately. But more importantly, we will be able to quickly double our electric capacity, which will be needed to compete with China and other countries on artificial intelligence. You know, to do artificial, which is a big hot thing that's happening now. They say it's the next big wave. I don't know. It comes with risk, but it's the next hot thing. But it needs massive amounts of electricity. So if you took all of the electricity in our country right now, which isn't enough, because in California with Governor Newsom, you have blackouts and brownouts. How about him? He wants to go all electric cars, but he can't give you air conditioning in the summer, right? Let's go all electric, but we have a blackout every 10 seconds. It's crazy. It's crazy. But we're going to do things that nobody has ever really had the courage to do, but it doesn't take courage. It's common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense, okay? We're conservative, all that stuff. Who cares? We are the party of common sense. We will build new power plants. But think of this, the electric. So if you took all of the electric that we have right now in our country, you need that more than doubled to be able to compete with China. So they need more than double the electricity that we currently have to have the artificial intelligence, which will be a massive field. And China is already building plants, electric plants. And we have a problem because we have things called environmental impact statements and various things that you have to go through. I will get them approved so fast because China doesn't really need approval. President Xi says, okay, build that plant. That's the end. There's no environmental impact statement. I would ask him, President, do you go through an environmental impact statement? He says, I am the environmental impact statement. With us, you go through years and years of torture, but we're going to do it on an expedited basis. And with the lowest energy prices on earth, we will have the lowest energy prices on earth because we got lucky. We're right on top of the best stuff in the world. And I'll put Anwar back into play. You know, for Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. They couldn't get it done. Anwar in Alaska, the biggest field probably in the world, maybe bigger than Saudi Arabia. I got it done. I was so proud of it. I got it done. In his first week, they terminated it. The biggest field anywhere in the world that would supply Asia, would make so much money, would pay down debt so fast. And Biden rejected it. And when I terminated the Russian pipeline, Nord Stream 2, Biden approved it. But he terminated our pipeline, which is Nord Stream, right? The Nord Stream is the Russia, which is Keystone, the Keystone XL. He terminated our pipeline, but he approved the Russian pipeline, Nord Stream 2, going all over Europe, heading to Germany, but going all over Europe. And I just said, what the hell is going on? This was early on. This is in the first weeks of his administration. And I said, what's going on? And then they say, so think of it. I terminated the Russian pipeline, and then they said, Donald Trump was very friendly with Russia. That was the biggest thing that they've ever done, and I terminated it. When he came in, one of the first things he did is he approved the pipeline that I terminated, and they say, I was nice. That was the biggest, Putin told me, if you're like this, I would hate like hell to see if you were bad. They say that you've been nice to me. You have not been nice to me. With all the sanctions, but we had the fake Russia hoax, which, by the way, endangers our country when they do that. It turned out to be a total fake. Endangers, we can't have that. From the standpoint of even business, we have to be able to get along with other nations. We have to be able to use the minerals and other things that they have. But we have to make the proper deals, because with the proper deals, there will be nobody on earth that can compete with us in business. We will attract energy-hungry industries. There are a lot of industries will never be able to make it in certain areas because they don't have energy, but we have energy-hungry industries that will attract them from all over the planet, meaning millions and millions of blue-collar jobs and jobs of every type. And under my plan, we expedite environmental approvals, and we will get everything approved quickly to unleash mineral production and rare earth. They think we have to go to China for rare earth. We don't. We have more rare earth than they do, but it's protected environmentally. We can't do anything about it. We're going to do something about it. We're going to use our resources to our benefit. And it'll be clean and environmentally perfect, so that Americans can manufacture everything that we need, the resources we have right here. American soil, it's got everything. It's got the rare earth, it's got the oil, it's got the gas. We have everything. The only thing we don't have is smart people leading our country. Thank you very much. We're sitting on trillions and trillions of dollars under our feet, and let's use that to make America rich again. Is that okay? If Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, she will deindustrialize the United States and destroy our country. We will become virtually a banana republic. We will be destroyed. Their plans are horrible. Under Kamala, there will be no car industry, no steel industry, no significant manufacturing of any kind, and we will be at risk of military defeat. You know that, right? A very simple fact is this: if you don't have steel, you don't have a military. And I'm not going to allow, and I said it before and I'll say it again, and I got along with a great gentleman, Shinzo Abe from Japan. He was assassinated. He was a great gentleman. But I said, Shinzo, we have to change our trade deal. And he said to me, I knew you were going to come with that. I said, well, why did you know? He said, for 25 years, no American has said that to us. They got away with murder. And we changed the deal. And the deal we now have is really good. But the deal we're going to have is going to be beyond belief with not just with Japan, with every company and every, frankly, with their companies and with their nations. I'm not going to allow Japan to buy U.S. steel. I'm not going to let it happen. 70 years ago, again, the greatest company on earth. Kamala's illegals are also crushing your wages and stealing your jobs. Last month alone, think of this, American-born workers lost 1.3 million jobs and migrants gained 635,000 jobs. So we're putting our migrants to work at a much higher level than our own people, our own citizens. So as we create millions of new manufacturing jobs here in Georgia, nationwide, we will make sure that these jobs go to American citizens, not illegal citizens, people that came into our country illegally. Your wages will rise, your costs will fall, your job opportunities will grow, because we will conduct the largest deportation operation, sadly, in American history. We have no choice. This is not sustainable.
We can't afford 4 more years of this. We can't afford 4 more years of this.